Welcome to the T-Pac Arcade. Today's game is StarFox for the Atari 2600. In this 1983 shoot-'em-up from Mythicon, you're on an intergalactic mission to recover lost trimetallicium crystals from planet Beta 7 before enemy fighter drones steal them all. And supposedly do bad stuff with them, I guess. Anyway, trying to retrieve trimetallicium crystals probably isn't as difficult as trying to, well, pronounce trimetallicium crystals. So StarFox is a roaming shooter that scrolls endlessly along the horizontal axis, and enemy drones come at you one at a time as you both volley laser blasts at each other. For every 2,000 point threshold you break, a new, more aggressive type of enemy will swap in. You start with simple orb drones, then come arrowhead bird things, and next it's back to the orbs, except this time they're a little more squished like pancakes. Following those are space dumbbells, who I can feel taunting me for having noodle arms from playing Atari games all day when I should probably be lifting weights. And then we've got the starship equivalent of an underscore bracket, a bland but inoffensive piece of typography paired with a bland but inoffensive piece of cosmic vehicular design. And finally, the ultimate form of the orb drone. This time, it's even more squished, so much so that it's just a tiny little circle buzzing around the planet. But don't let its diminutive stature fool you, it's fast and deadly and full of firepower. Blasting a drone is worth 100 points, but you can also just ram directly into it for 10 points. Not a lot of reward for the inevitable damage to your starship, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, so long as your spacecraft insurance will cover the damages, which they apparently won't in hard mode, since crashing into a drone here just blows you up. Oof. But never mind that. The real point bonuses come from snagging crystals on the planet's surface. Flying to the edge of the screen and then turning back will reveal those tasty trimetalliciums, and you can dive down to get them for 200 points each. But there are two problems here. First, descending to the planet's surface causes enemy drones to switch over to bombing mode, where they position directly above you to drop charges on your head. And second, you can't move left or right once you enter the orange atmosphere strip where the crystals hang out, making it difficult to actually navigate to the crystal and impossible to dodge incoming bombs, at least laterally. So the best method to grab a crystal and survive is to lure an enemy drone past one, then quickly turn back and dive down at it diagonally while the drone is still catching up from behind. This lets you surface before getting bombed out, provided you're back out of the orange zone quick enough, which works best when crystals are at their peak, since they periodically float halfway up the atmosphere for easier collecting. If you work out the timing for this strategy, you can actually just hang out right above the planet's surface for the whole game, zooming back and forth to keep enemies away and snagging crystals one after another. Which is how I managed to max out the score at 9,999 points for regular and hard mode. Some people might find it boring to cheese a game like this, but sometimes I actually have more fun figuring out exploits to quote-unquote break a game than to play through it the proper way. Which means the difficulty of StarFox is pretty dependent on how you go about scoring points, and whether or not you're playing in practice mode, where you get unlimited lives but no score, normal mode, where you're allowed to crash into enemy ships, or hard mode, where you might as well just use my crystal method, or the drones will have your throat in no time. Aesthetically, I'm really into StarFox. I love the uniformity of the shadow-shape enemy drones, the unique design of your own ship, complete with its laser that stretches across the entire screen, and the neat flashing explosions of garbled pixels when something blows up. The atmosphere gradients and little structures scrolling along the top of the screen are nice touches too. I only wish the audio was as well conceived. It's mostly just a barrage of discordant 8-bit whoa-wee-oh, plus a jarring buzz sound whenever you dive into the orange atmosphere zone. Oh well, at least the bassy bombs and explosion crashes are cool. The most novel aspect of StarFox is definitely the movement restrictions at the planet's surface. It adds a nice risk-reward element, since going for crystals nets you the highest point bonuses, but puts you in serious danger, because doing so revokes your ability to fly left and right, a mechanic that most shoot-'em-ups would never dare take away from you. That being said, figuring out my strategy to grab crystals effectively was my favorite part of StarFox. If only there was a way to balance it with an incentive to engage enemy drones for at least a little bit of necessary space combat here and there. Wouldn't want my cool screen-stretching lasers to go completely to waste. But overall, StarFox is a neat roaming shooter with some unique ideas and mechanics. Whether or not those ideas and mechanics are executed very well is definitely up for debate, but at least I had fun cheesing my way to a horde of trimetallicium crystals that may or may not be easier to collect than to pronounce.